Report writing on a project like this banking API or any other API is especially demanding. You need PCI DSS requirements mapping, OWASP, control references, and business impact language that CISO and the C-suite will actually read. I base my raw notes, for example, the IDO on API account ID, no auth check on account ownership, and Cloud writes a complete finding. The CVSS core maps it to the specific PCI DSS v4.0 requirements, describes the impact in terms of 10 million users whose financial data is exposed, and provides remediation guidance that references the project's own mandatory security rules. The executive summary translates technical jargon on board level risk language. What used to be to take 30 minutes, or maybe more, will now take 5. In a full engagement report that took 3 days, now take 1. Welcome. Hello, hello. So I'm going to show how Claude goes from a chatbot you open when you talk to an active member of your security team. Most professionals are today still at level 1, asking questions, reviewing snippets, copying answers. That's fine, but it hasn't changed how they do security. And this is what I want to do with you. So that way of using level 1 is to reactive, is to manual. The real transformation happens when you design Claude into environments as a system. I'll show you a real example. Gonna take as example a banking API that handles PII, biometrics, and financial data of 10 million users, where Claude enforces PCI DSS v4.0. If you want, I have also another video on PCI DSS and this channel, and OWASP level 2 compliance on every line of code. And then I'll flip it, because if you're deploying AI agents, they're also the target. Let's cover both sides. This maturity model from the Cloud Security Guy, can check. I think I probably put a link of his channel here on the description. And I really like, because it's the clearest framework I've seen. Level 1, you open Claude or Claude. You type a question, you copy the answer. Level 2, you're using Claude's code inside your repos. Generating scripts, reviewing application code, building internal tools, you feel more productive, and you are. But there is a ceiling. Everything still depends on you remembering to use it. Level 3 is where things shift fundamentally. Claude starts designing security architecture, enforcing compliance rules, and thinking in systems rather than tasks. Level 4 is the end game. Claude runs as a persistent autonomous team member. So you have an agent taking care of all the different agents. It triages vulnerability, it monitors threat intelligence, it drafts incident responses without you initiating each step. The question for everyone in this room is like, which level are you? Which level you want to be? And what's stopping you from moving up? Recon is where Claude starts earning its place on the team. So let's say I dump a raw ascent, like I didn't export, shut down results, who is data, job postings, and Claude synthesizes a structured target profile with exposed attack surface patterns. Beautiful. It identifies technology stacks from job listing maps to org structure from public data, and can even draft pretext narrative for social engineering scenarios. It can also be used for good. It can use for sales. It can use for recruiting. It can use, as long as you're ethical and do everything fine, and you know how to do it according to regulations, all good. Check your regulations. It's important. So Claude synthesizes and structured target profile with exposed attack surface patterns. It identifies technology stacks from job listings, map the org structure for public data, and can even draft pretext narratives for social engineering scenarios. For methodology, I describe the target environment, the initial access vector, and engagement objectives. Claude produces a plausible TTP chain with mutual and attack techniques IDs. Let's say T1516 for phishing, T1078 for valid accounts, mapped all the way through lateral movements into exfiltration. This becomes the skeleton of engagement plan and report simultaneously. One prompt replaces an hour of or more of manual framework mapping, especially if you're dealing with a lot of regulation. You have the possibility of telling to adapt to the regulation you or overlap of different regulations. So here where the theory becomes practice. First, the project configuration for a banking API serving 10 million users with PII biometrics, personal identifiable data. So if I write a Claude.md file, a set of rules Claude enforces on every code generation and review, all database queries use parameterized statements. Password hashed with encrypt, minimal cost factor 12. Every endpoint enforcing authentication and role-based access control. HTTP responses include security header via Helmet.js. Rate limiting on all auth endpoints. It explicitly bans eval, exec, function constructors, MD5 or SHA-1 for hashing. If you still use SHA-1, we have to talk. Non-CLS communication, no way, and console log in production path. This isn't a checklist developers might follow. It's a system Claude enforces automatically. Second, MCP service. This is where Claude gains access to real-world security tooling. Instead of guessing or rely on training data, Claude carries live CVE databases. Check real packages. Ban the ones we don't want to have. Check your package vulnerabilities, pull cloud configurations, integrates with the SIEM or log aggregators, and consume threat intelligence feeds live. And this is the difference between an AI that knows about security and an AI that does security. Report threats on a project like this banking API, for instance, is especially demanding. You need PCI DSS requirements mapping. If you want to know about PCI DSS, I have a video and a series of video in this channel about it. You need OWASP, control references, and business impact language that the C-suite and the CISO will actually read. So if I pass my raw notes, IDOR, on API account ID, no auth check on account ownership, and Claude writes a completing finding with the CVSS core maps to the specific PCI DSS v4.0 requirements, describe the impact in terms of 10 million users, whose financial data PII is exposed, and provide remediation guidance that references the project's own mandatory security rule. I even will go further to use the ROSI model to calculate how much remediation could cost and to have a good idea of the return on investment of everything we put in the system. The executive summary that translates technical jargon into board level risk language with the ROSI model, with the risk, with the costs, and everything. What used to take about 30 minutes or even more per finding, take now 5, maybe less. A full engagement report that could take a week or 2 days now might take 1 or 2 days. So, and now let's flip the perspective. Everything we built, that banking app, for instance, those MCP integrations, the agent pipelines, they all introduce a new attack surface, the AI itself. Alex Combesi from Giscard, really good presentation. Really, you should definitely take some time and look.